Okay, and we're live.
Alright, welcome everybody.
This is the 15th episode of Season 3 of the Worldwide Wednesday podcast.
I'm your host, Alvin.
And I'm Shiny. And this week, I wasn't expecting to be talking about the holiday special. I thought it was going to come out in December proper.
No, it was always planned for a late November release.
Well, I didn't keep up with it, so, yeah, we're going to start with that. And, my thoughts on it was that it was a really good Christmas special.
It was cute, but am I going to watch it again after this?
Probably.
No.
Probably not.
No.
I mean, actually, I take that back. This is something that I would show my kids when holidays come around.
Yeah.
This would be what I would show my kids for holidays. And honestly, I think that's entirely what they were going for, and so they succeeded. They made a holiday special that was good. It reminds me of all the other holiday specials I used to watch as a kid, and I think they captured the essence of it really well, while still keeping it MCU.
Yeah. I would say the one thing that stuck with me is probably just, they took the horrible animation from the original Star Wars holiday special and just put it in and kind of refined it a bit.
Yeah.
That's a neat nod, although people who don't know about the Star Wars holiday special won't understand why it's animated.
Yeah, but at the same time, if you're watching this and you know what this is, you kind of have to know what the Star Wars holiday special is. This quite literally would not exist without the Star Wars holiday special.
Yeah, but let's face it, Zoomers are not going to understand it. Like, your basic Zoomers who are going to watch this and oh, cool, a holiday special, might as well put it on.
Yeah.
Like, they're not going to understand the deep lore behind it.
Fair enough. I mean, the holiday special is where Boba Fett came from.
That is true.
Yep. But anyways, like for the main things about it, I thought it was very good when it came to the emotional beats. This is a very Mantis-centric story. She is the main character. And honestly, I think this is good for her character moving forward because there was never really time for her character to really get the spotlight. Because after Guardians 2, we don't see the Guardians again until Infinity War. And by that point, it's been established that Mantis has been with the crew for not her movie. So Guardians 3 would have been weird to make it Mantis her own character.
Yeah, got a little bit of whiplash considering the fact that, we saw sides of her character that we've never seen before, considering she's such a secondary character.
Exactly. And I was actually, the more I thought about it, the more I was like, this was actually really good for her character, because in the comics, Mantis is actually a very big character. Mantis is extremely important in the comics. And so the fact that in the MCU, Mantis has basically no character is kind of surprising considering how big she is. And so I really like this. I like the confirmation finally that Mantis is Star-Lord's half-sister. We all kind of assumed it, but it was never actually stated until this special.
Yeah.
And this is now the second Celestial hybrid we've met. And overall, I think they handled it really well. I think they handled the fact that she's an empath, and the fact that that makes her extremely afraid of telling Peter, because she knows just how much negativity is in his brain in regards to ego. And so she felt that if she told him that that negativity would, fall onto her, which I think was very good writing in terms of how an empath would feel insecurity in regards to other people, because that's not something that's really explored when you deal with characters that can at basically all times see the emotional well-being of who they're around.
Yeah. I will say one thing that did surprise me was the fact that it seems like the space side of the MCU is a little more connected with the Earth side, much more than we anticipated, considering that there are more verbal acknowledgments of other characters exist.
Yeah, and honestly, that makes sense. What the Avengers did probably is something that's heard across the universe.
Yeah.
I
mean, just remember, Mantis acknowledged that Captain America is a thing that oh yeah, I fought alongside him.
Yeah.
And so she's like super shocked to see like a street performer wearing his outfit.
Yeah, she's all excited to go see Steve again, and then it's just like, that's not Steve. That's just a guy. Which also means they know where Captain America is, meaning no one knows where he is. Probably besides Bucky and Sam.
Yeah.
I think they're the only two people that know where Steve is, and the rest of the superhero community has no clue.
If he's still alive, considering the fact that it's been like 3 years since end of Endgame.
He's probably alive. He looked like slightly older than William Hurt's character, and he's canonically still alive.
Yeah.
So I mean, obviously not in fighting shape, but he's probably just alive.
You never know. He could be in fighting shape at that age.
I mean, yes, the super soldier serum, but like he's still like in his like 80s. Oh yeah, speaking of super soldiers, Bucky's arm was taken by Nebula.
I will say that was probably the best joke in the whole thing.
I legitimately, right as I saw Nebula walking to Rocket, I knew it was Bucky's arm. I was like, there's only one gift that she could get him. And, I like to believe that that's just a spare arm.
I would hope so.
Unless she did go to Earth, find Bucky, beat the shit out of him, steal his arm, and then leave. Because I don't think Wakanda's going to be very friendly with people currently associated with the U.S. military. So, I hope he has spares. I don't think he's getting a new one anytime soon.
Yeah.
Considering the whole war about to start.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But, I really liked it. Drax was Drax.
Yeah, you can't really... I hate to say his character's a bit of a caricature, but, like, there's not much you can do.
Not much you can really do with him, especially with the direction that James Gunn has taken his character. Like, Drax in the comics is an extremely different person. For one, Drax in the comics was a human abducted in the Nevada desert. So, like, already big thing. Big change. So, yeah. But, he was, for the character that he has in the MCU, he was pretty good.
Yep.
I do like, the joke that, they all don't like actors, because all of them are, on some level, they have, like, reasons to dislike people who act differently than who they are. Mantis, because she's an empath. Drax, because his species is incredibly literal. Rocket, because he is not a raccoon, but he presents as a raccoon, so it makes him very insecure about his appearance. Nebula, because Nebula doesn't like fun. The only person that probably didn't hate it was Star-Lord, because he's the only one that knows what the fucking actor really is.
Yeah.
The Nebula dancing is the peak of just like, I hate everything and I hate being here, but I'm gonna try to have fun hating being here. With all the dancing that she did. The other main character, Kevin Bacon.
Not much you could screw up there.
It's kind of hard to tell an actor to... It's kind of hard to get an actor to fuck up playing themselves. Like, it's kind of a slam dunk, all things considered. Like, I don't know how he could have messed it up. They're like, act like how you would react if aliens came and abducted you. Go. Kevin Bacon was pretty good. I liked his little character arc in realizing, that his job as an actor has actually touched people and made a tangible, positive impact on the world. And the least he can do is, stay around and try to make Christmas better for them. Because, at the end of the day, I feel like that's something every actor strives to do, which is knowing that they've left a positive impact on the world due to, the work that they do. And so Kevin Bacon kind of achieved that. He got to see that, wow, my roles in movies was actually inspirational to someone. enough so that they saved the frickin' universe. So yeah.
Yeah. Definitely can agree with that there.
Yeah. I hope he does actually show up like intermittently in like Guardians like themed things, like, you know, like they're all just chilling, like you see Howard the Duck, you see Cosmo the Space Dog, you see Kevin Bacon, they're just chilling on Nowhere. Also, another big lore implication, the Collector is alive, and also he sold Nowhere to the Guardians.
Yeah, that was a big pill to swallow, honestly.
So I'm surprised the Collector lived, because I thought he died when Thanos stole the Reality Stone, and since it was pre-snap, I didn't think he'd be resurrected. But I'm guessing Thanos just didn't kill him.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah, which was, yeah, surprising. But the fact that he sold Nowhere makes complete sense to me. After Thanos ravaged it and his collection gone, what more does he have left? Like, what? What does he have left? He might as well go chill with his brother on Sakaar. So, yeah, it makes sense. And the Guardians owning Nowhere, I believe, is actually pulled from the comics. So it's actually nice that they now have, like, a base of operations and, like, a community that, you know, we can become attached to when, you know, they inevitably get slaughtered by Adam Warlock in Guardians 3.
Yeah.
I'm satisfied with it.
Yeah.
It was a good holiday special. Something that if I was a parent, I would definitely sit down and watch with my kids and find, you know, entertaining and surprisingly age appropriate, considering the other Guardians are far more foul.
Yeah. I don't think this project deserves a score. It just sits on its own. It does its purpose.
It does its purpose, and it was, I know it was touted as the epilogue to Phase 4. Like, Black Panther Wakanda Forever was the finale, and this was touted as the epilogue, and I think when it came to, you know, what it set out to be, being an epilogue, being a good holiday special, I think it succeeded on those fronts.
Yeah. I'll say one thing that I do want to bring up is that James Gunn actually mentioning that despite the fact that we got a bigger Groot in this special, we will not be getting full-grown Groot in Guardians 3.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine Guardians 3 takes place only a couple months after this.
Yeah.
And also, Groot now was not the same Groot from Guardians 1. Groot now is Groot the Second. Or however long in that lineage. So, of course, he's going to look like a different person.
Yeah. I mean, he's got... I mean, maybe he's a little, like, bulkier, but... It's
little? He's way bulkier! Have you seen his shoulders? He can't even fit through a fucking door! Yeah, no, he's a little. He is very bulky. But... Also, they gave him a Game Boy, which is an objective upgrade from what he was playing back in Endgame. But yeah, I liked it. I wanted to also just diverge very... I don't know how quick it is, but I wanted to mention, like, since we're at the end, the official end of Phase 4, what is your review on the phase as a whole? My opinion is that this was rough.
It was definitely below average.
I would say it was
because let's
on the level of Phase 2 in terms of how the Phase 2 movies were the worst regarded amongst the three phases of the Thanos saga.
Because let's go through it all. Like, Black Widow.
No, I wanted to actually start from the very first thing we got, which was WandaVision.
Okay.
So, I want to go chronologically of things that were...
So, WandaVision.
Very strong beginning.
Very strong beginning, but just crap the bed by the ending.
By the end, it really fell apart, and some people have said, like, oh, if they were allowed to do the original plot, it'd be better. I disagree.
See, that...
Because the
plot that they stuck with was still good. It's just the ending was very bad. Also, the villains were bad. Just the ending is what ruins it. Like, you can keep the overall plot, but the problem is, it's just that
Hayward is a bad villain, and Agatha, for the most part, has done nothing wrong compared to Wanda.
Yeah.
Like, what was Agatha's biggest crime?
She's a witch.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
That's pretty much it. Like, Agatha's biggest crime is, I want your powers. And, I mean, I guess that could be bad, but considering we're seeing the results of what Wanda does with her powers, it kind of didn't really sell it to me. I was like, what could she do with Wanda's powers that is worse than where we are currently? And where we go in the future. And where we go in the future, I'm like, I don't see how Agatha was evil. Even some people say, oh, well, she, like, attacked her kids. They're fake. They're fake fucking kids. They don't even exist. So that point is moot.
They're real to her. That's what matters.
Oh my god. And then Hayward. Like, Hayward was, for the most part, a very level-headed character, given the circumstances.
And then he aims his guns at children.
Mind you, they're fake children, but unlike Agatha...
Does he know that?
But I was about to say, unlike Agatha, who knew from the beginning the kids were fake, he didn't know the kids were fake, and he was willing to unload a fucking clip on them. So, that just went from, reasonable individual to... what? So, yeah, and then the fact that he was vilified was just kind of weird to me, considering we could have just stuck with Wanda being a villain protagonist, a la Death Note, and just, we could have had that.
But that would make the Wanda simps very sad.
Wanda didn't have any simps until this fucking show. All the Wanda simps were comic Wanda simps. And they already knew she was fucking crazy. Monica's character, there's something missing. Like, for one, it's clear she has beef with Carol, but I kind of need a bit more to understand where we're going with that beef.
Not really beef, but, like...
It's clear she's not fond of Carol at the current moment, and we don't know why. They don't ever say why.
Does she even... I don't think I remember that.
Yeah, so, for one, when they talk about who was instrumental in defeating Thanos, Darcy and Jimmy bring up how Captain Marvel was able to be the first one to stop him snapping, and how she's the strongest. And Monica very sourly says how Wanda could have done better if Thanos didn't shoot her down. The way the character acts when Carol was brought up, as well as in another scene, indicates that something has happened in between Captain Marvel 1 and WandaVision for her opinion on Carol to sour. Some people think it has to do with the fact that her mom was dying of cancer and Carol never showed up. It could be for something entirely different. Who knows?
Yeah, anyway, moving on. We can go ahead and get into Black Widow, which...
Oh, well, I wanted to speak of the last two characters, Darcy and Jimmy Woo. How it was good to see them, but their characters are static. Nothing about them really changed.
I disagree. I never wanted to see Darcy again. She's a really bad character, and I do not like her.
Well, but that doesn't mean that she didn't change. She's static. Did she have a character arc?
No, I just don't want to see her character.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying she didn't have a character arc this show.
Yeah.
Like,
you said you liked that they were back. I disagree.
Oh, no, I didn't say I liked that they're back. I just said that they just didn't have a character arc. Jimmy Woo, I kind of like that he's back. Darcy, I was completely ambivalent for.
No, I don't like her character.
The only thing I like about Darcy is in Thor: The Dark World when Mjolnir flies, she's like, Mew Mew! And that's the only thing. Just because it's so ridiculous.
Oh, that sounds annoying.
That's about it. Moving on to the next thing that came out, it was Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Did that still come out before Black Widow?
It was WandaVision, Falcon, Loki, Black Widow, What If, Shang-Chi, Eternals, Hawkeye, Spider-Man. Then...
Okay. Okay.
But anyways, moving to Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
This, man, a political, a geopolitical, action thriller. It could have been interesting. The problem is there's too much terrorist apologia.
Exactly. My problem with Falcon and the Winter Soldier is, so, we're supposed to, on some level, have empathy for the Flag Smashers.
Because, let's face it, obviously their appreciation was for how things were before the snap, back when communities were more coalescing with each other. Thus the name that they choose, the Flag Smashers, which is to quite literally smash flags, destroy borders between peoples, and connect them together.
Yeah.
The problem is that the writers realized, oh shoot, we're writing villains, and had decided, oh yeah, to make our villains less sympathetic, we need to have them to bomb people.
Exactly. As leftists, this idea, oh yeah, we need to destroy the concept of the nation state, and we need to just pool together and help each other. I see no problems with that. My biggest issue is they talk about how it was so much better during the blip. We are given no flashbacks to see why that's the case.
Also, it's completely contradictory because when Scott gets back to present day in Endgame, it's a complete opposite. Everything's in complete disarray.
As the world would be!
The world is an absolute wreck. Trash is everywhere. Nobody is connecting with one another. The world is absolute garbage.
Yeah, and maybe it could have been a commentary on how, when such a major mass disaster happens, the global north would be affected more due to how advanced and privileged it is. Meanwhile, the global south wouldn't be as effective because they were already at such a floor. That could have been some gripping commentary, but one, we really don't know where the Flag Smashers originate geographically. We know that they are loosely within, Eastern Europe, but they also were in Madripoor for an extended period of time, and we get nothing to really understand what made the blip so good for the Flag Smashers. To the point where, if you just sit down and take them for their word, they sound fucking insane. Who would want to go back to how the apocalypse was?
Yeah, and it's a shame that the best character in the show was Zemo.
Yeah, really. Because, the Flag Smashers are just, blah. John Walker actually had the bones of a very interesting character arc of, American exceptionalism being groomed within American exceptionalism, and how that doesn't translate to being a good Captain America. But to be perfectly honest, he was justified in nearly everything he did the entire show. Think about it. He was legally called in to fight the Flag Smashers, which he did. The next time he appeared, he legally is in Latvia, while everyone else there is there illegally, and he kills a Flag Smasher. And yes, one could argue that he did it while he was surrendering, but my answer to this is that if you're a fucking super soldier, you are a weapon. Everything about you is a weapon.
Okay, first of all, that's still a war crime, and two, nobody knows that he's a super soldier.
Oh, wait. I thought it was public knowledge that the Flag Smashers were enhanced.
Oh, no. I thought you were talking about John Walker.
No. I'm talking about the Flag Smasher that he killed. How he's a fucking super soldier, so, even if he says he's surrendering, the fact of his existence is a weapon in and of itself.
Why do they not have any methods to knock them out, or any way to knock out a super soldier with them? That is my question there.
Yeah. Mind you, given the context, I don't think Walker would have done it anyway. They literally killed Lamar in cold blood, unambiguously killing him in cold blood for doing his job of investigating the terrorists.
I will say, the actor does a really good job at portraying this flawed character.
Yes.
And it is such a shame that he got death threats for it.
I know. Wyatt Russell, obviously son of Kurt Russell, of, we don't need to explain. He's a very great actor. Wyatt did really well. I liked him in the role.
I have no problems with his character up until the final episode, where like it deviates from the arc that he was going in.
Yeah,
but
so
like he commits a war crime.
He commits a war crime, but considering who our protagonists are we really holding John the only one culpable here? Really? The beginning of the show was quite literally Sam invading foreign airspace by a hair's breadth in a covert operation against another terrorist cell. They were skirting a lot of boundaries in that first mission.
You don't think I have criticisms about freeing Zemo?
Oh yeah, no, but what I'm saying is that everyone says
that's like the biggest crime they do.
Oh yeah, no, but my whole thing is that everyone focuses on how Walker killed that one guy, and I'm sitting here like, okay, but everyone else has done just as bad, so comparatively, he's still the moral best character because the only bad thing he did was kill someone, while everyone else does that and worse.
Again, I'm still of the opinion that freeing Zemo is the worst war crime done in the show.
Oh, it really is. The fact that they freed Zemo was, I mean, obviously good for the plot and good for the character development, but horrible morality-wise. And the other thing I have is that the commentary on race was good, but not enough.
Yeah, it was pretty good, I would say.
It was good, I just could have been a bit more. Because, like,
that was the most satisfying part of the final episode.
I mean, well, I'm going to come at it from a different perspective. I thought the fact that I thought his final speech was...
Oh, no, the final speech is awful. I'm talking more like, the interactions that he had with the crowd and, what's it called? And what's his name?
Isaiah?
Yeah.
Yeah, Isaiah. No, that, yes.
Those two are the best part.
Oh, yeah.
The do better speech
is
terrible.
That reeked of neoliberal garbage. I hated it. But I just felt that throughout the show, I felt the Flag Smashers were completely unconvincing. John Walker was in the right for practically the entire show. And Bucky and Sam just kind of felt flat. Like, Sam obviously...
Oh, no, especially Bucky's character. Because remember how he has this whole arc of, like, I need to reconcile for my past sins? And they don't show him at the end having the conversation with the old man at the end. They skip past it like a bunch of cowards.
Exactly. The thing about Bucky's whole I need to atone for the past thing is that it also has nothing to do with the Flag Smashers. Like, there's no intersections, which kind of sucks when that's your main emotional beat, and it has no conflict with the main conflict as well.
Yeah, because his other arc is like, no, in order to carry on my friend's legacy, you must carry the shield.
Yeah.
That's the main connection that he has to the plot.
Yeah.
And it's a little disconnected from that other plot, so I see what you're saying.
Yeah. I also feel Rhodey was underused, and I feel like Rhodey should have been the character that was used alongside Isaiah Bradley to show the black man now being the face of America type thing. I feel like Rhodey, because he's always been, like, you know, the black man for the military. Like, he's War Machine. He's Iron Patriot. Like, that's Rhodey. He could have, like, had an interaction with Sam about that. Yeah. And we never really got that, which I felt was very underutilized. And while some may argue, yes, Don Cheadle would... Yes, he would take up a lot of discussion if he was in the show. I feel that for the arc that you're trying to tell, having the first black MCU superhero be absent from the arc about being a prominent black superhero, I felt was not good. And I'm biased because I'm black, and I feel like that would be a very interesting conversation amongst black men, but yeah.
Yeah. But the show was just an overall disappointment, because... it had a lot of potential to be good. It's just, I don't think the writers knew what they were doing with the show.
Same. And even if the rumored virus vaccine plotline was a thing, I still don't think the plot would have been good because our problems involve the motivations of characters and seeing their character arc through and through. And I don't think changing it to a virus vaccine plot is going to help it. Also, Sharon's complete 180 as a character.
Yeah.
With like the last time we saw Sharon, she was fighting Nazis and trying to help Cap evade or capture. Now I'm a criminal. And I don't care about anything. I'm just an enlightened centrist now, which is like, excuse me, the fuck. And now she works for the CIA, which is about to destabilize Wakanda. Anyways,
moving on. Let's move on to a good show. Phase 4. I'm completely stuck on this.
I think it's the second best. I think Moon Knight edges it out for me. I think it goes Moon Knight, the rest. The rest.
So the thing with Loki is that I just really like it. It's such a high concept piece, but this show has so much working against it, considering it's so high concept and it really requires a lot of detail from the writers, and
also it had the most cynical milking Hollywood like aesthetic, because it was like, oh, we're bringing back Loki even though he's been dead, but we're gonna use this convenient alternate timeline thing. Like, it seemed like so milked out of the first slate of shows, and so I'm glad it overcame it. Tom Hiddleston, Sophie DiMartino, and
Owen Wilson.
Don't know why I was blanking on him. Those three killed it.
Yeah.
Who's supposed to play Hunter B27? She didn't really get to do much, which kind of sucks because she was kind of promoted a lot. Too.
Yeah.
B27. The most that we got was that she was under brainwashing, but
Yeah, and of course, Loki carries a lot because of the fact that this is the project that introduces us to the multiverse. This is what shows us, oh, this is the direction the MCU is going to take. Introducing He Who Remains, introducing the just introducing the concept of the TVA to begin with. It does a lot of work for the MCU, and that show alone carried a lot of hype.
Yeah. Also, just the concept of like a character interacting with themselves in like a very like you said, it's very high concept. The idea of having two characters who are the same person interact for extended periods of time.
Yeah, and to the extent where they commit self-cest.
Which we all were wanting.
We were all rooting for it.
But it's just on some level, on some cosmic level, you're like, that's still incest, dude.
It's not incest, it's self-cest. It's entirely different.
Wouldn't self-cest be incest because it produced the same genetic deformities because of how genetically similar you are to yourself? Like, would you even be able to reproduce?
I mean, probably, yeah. Just, I don't recommend it.
Yeah. Anyways, I really liked Loki's arc. Some say it is a bit rushed, the fact that he got to skip all of the development that he had from...
I will still advocate that is actually a strength of the show, actually forcing his character to do that in the most tragic way possible. I'm still going to be on the positive on that, because I still think that was handled really well.
No, I would say, some people say it's lazy. I think it was actually, really good, just for the fact that, if you were told exactly how your life went, and how ultimately you doing whatever you want and achieving your so-called dreams will lead to just death, you would very quickly change your entire outlook on life. And so Loki wants to be now a more noble person because he sees exactly what him being himself leads to.
Ultimately, he's forced to learn all of, the lessons that his character goes through over the span of 20 years into one moment, and I'm going to disagree with people who say that's lazy, because that is the perfect tragedy for a character like Loki.
What was it? There was a deleted scene. It was going to be before he gets to that point. There was going to be before, so he gets in, he escapes from the TVA, and he like goes across the multiverse, and he kills Thor, he kills Odin, he kills Thanos, he has 2 Infinity Gauntlets, he's the ruler of the universe, and it just ends with him like having like just like an orgy, and like at the end you just see him sitting there on the throne with like half naked men and women like passed out. And then he gets recaptured, and then he gets the whole like scene, and it's supposed to hit that like he thinks about it after what he sees, and then thinks about how he just was, and he realizes that he felt no different doing all that than how he did beforehand, and how him doing that would just lead to him dying anyway, and nothing would have changed. Which I think, I'm glad they cut, but I like the sentiment of.
Yeah.
The idea that...
There's an easy way to screw up a scene like that, honestly.
Oh, it's very easy, and I'm glad they cut it, but the sentiment of the fact that, like, even this Loki would have gotten to a peak and then fell and realized it wasn't worth it.
Yeah.
Really just... It was very funny. It was always touted as a comedy of sorts. So, I'm glad that it was actually funny.
Yeah.
Like, unlike... Well, we'll get to Thor Love and Thunder. But unlike Thor Love and Thunder, which was touted as a comedy, this show was actually funny with its humor because, you know, they used the charm of Tom Hiddleston to make things funny.
Well, because the big thing that comes from his character is like, oh yeah, this character sucks at everything whenever the heroes are on screen. So, like... Yeah, it's funny to not root for the villain.
Yeah,
and that's kind of been like what carries his character.
And also the fact that he's so arrogant about it. Like, he's so arrogant, but the moment a hero's on screen, he's practically like a fucking dog.
But yeah, like I'm still gonna say that Loki was the highlight of the Disney Plus shows because it's just. Really
I would
good.
say it had the best effects.
Yeah.
I'd say it had the best effects. My favorite was obviously Glorious Purpose. That was my favorite.
Yeah.
Also, Jonathan Major, his appearance in the final episode was good. Makes me really excited to see how he's going to differentiate that performance with how he plays Kang in Quantumania.
Yeah.
But overall, this was actually our first good Disney Plus show. And it was actually, I believe, of the entire slate that was coming out in 2021, the one people were looking forward to the least.
Yeah, but it's had a lot of staying power. And let's go ahead and move on to Black Widow. This was a very bland movie.
It was very bland. You can very well tell that this movie was less about Natasha and more as we need to introduce Yelena. And she's going to be basically better Natasha.
Yeah, Yelena has much more personality.
Yelena's just a fun character, and Florence Pugh plays her perfectly. She's just she brings the chaotic energy of the younger sibling archetype.
Yeah. But this was just a very bland movie. Like, there's nothing special about it that sets it apart from, like, any other spy thrillers we've gotten in this franchise.
Yeah, honestly, like, if I want to see a spy thriller...
We'd watch Winter Soldier.
Hell, I'd watch Black Panther.
Oh, that is true.
Black Panther had better, like, spy thriller-esque scenes than Black Widow. Black Widow is just... I would, like, if I was to, like, whenever I think of Black Widow, I think of a James Bond movie. And that's not to say that in a negative way, but it's just kind of say that it's so average within the genre.
Yeah.
Like, it's an action movie, and it's an average action movie. The best part of it is Yelena. David Harbour, he was good. I really feel like Scarlett Johansson didn't bring her all with it compared to Infinity War and Endgame.
Yeah, and
I felt like she was way stronger. I feel like she's always had stronger performances within, like her best was Winter Soldier, Age of Ultron, Infinity War Endgame.
Yeah.
In terms of her character development. Because,
I'd put Endgame above Age of Ultron, but...
No, but in terms of ones that actually progressed her character in meaningful ways.
No, that's what I mean.
Yeah. Age of Ultron... Remember, Age of Ultron for a long time was the apex of her character.
For a bit, yeah.
Yeah. But, it really felt like she didn't bring her all. And as a send-off type for Natasha, it was...
Like, what's the most memorable part about the movie?
The posing.
The posing, sure. The fact that Red Guardian has Karl Marx tattooed on his fists.
I fucking love that.
Like that's all I remember. Honestly, I can't.
Yeah,
I got nothing from this.
The way that one could look at it now is this is basically backdoor pilot to the Thunderbolts. This is like a backdoor prequel to the Thunderbolts, considering half of this movie's cast is in the Thunderbolts. So, yeah.
There's not much we can say. This is just a very bland movie.
It's very bland. Moving on to What If. Very hit or miss when it came to episodes.
This was a very mixed bag. Let's get the good ones out of the way first. We got the Doctor
Strange episode.
The episode was really good. Really peak storytelling there.
Star-Lord T'Challa.
Honestly, I'm gonna put the first Ultron episode.
The first Ultron episode was so good.
Yeah, but we got things like the Zombies episode. That one was really bad. The Party Thor episode felt so juvenile, and I felt like the MCU is better than this.
And then you had just very middle of the road episodes, like the Captain Carter or the Killmonger one.
Yeah, I will say the Killmonger one is actually really interesting. The problem is that when the story gets going good, it cuts it off right there, because it was actually a really interesting concept.
Yeah.
The problem is, of course, we gotta use his character in the last episode, so we can't let him get too powerful.
And also, on some level, it almost felt like Michael B. Jordan wanking. Like, the way that his character... Because remember, this character, by the end of the episode, has succeeded in killing Iron Man, War Machine, and T'Challa, and rules Wakanda, and is beating America in a war.
I will say, I do forgive the Captain Carter episode, because it introduces us to the concept of the multiverse in this show, and I feel like
it was the best introduction.
The episode was absolutely necessary to introduce us to that concept.
Oh, I think so too. But as an overall story, within itself, it was okay. Yeah,
it was just fine. But I'm still refusing to forgive the other two episodes, being, of course, Party Thor and the Zombies episode.
The Zombies really suffered, and the only good thing about this...
It suffers from the same things as Thor: Love and Thunder. It honestly does.
It does. And I'm really hoping that the Marvel Zombies show will be better. I have high hopes, considering that they are changing the writing team. The main problem I have with the Zombies episode is that they took away the part that made the zombies funny. The thing that makes Marvel Zombies funny was that the zombies were conscious and competent, and it's like they are themselves, but their primary desire is to eat things. And that's what makes it funny. But they took that away, and they gave it to the human survivors, and it's like, no, that's the exact opposite of what made it good. It's like they looked, because Marvel Zombies was made by Robert Kirkman, who also made The Walking Dead. It very much looks like they were like, let's make funny Walking Dead. And that's what I feel this episode was, and I don't like that.
Yeah. And then let's talk about Party Thor. Let's face it, that is a concept we have seen so many times over the past 20 years in so many other shows. A party happens, and we got to clean it up before the parents get home. like, I hate to bring it up, but it's a concept that Rick and Morty did better.
Exactly. The only good thing about it was the Carol versus Thor fight, because it was very well animated.
Yeah, that was very strange too, because it was like very like. I hate to compare the animation, but like the cell shading worked really well, and it made it feel like very Dragon Ball. I'm not gonna lie.
It did. I really liked the Carol Thor fight. I think it was probably the best fight in the series.
If you exclude the Ultron episode.
Yeah. But that's a full fucking episode, though.
Like I'm sorry, but that fight is so high concept that doesn't come close. I'm sorry.
I like it in terms of appearance.
Yeah.
And then, but outside of that, it's kind of just really dumb. The concept, though, that a Loki that was allowed to live in Jotunheim is just Thor 2. I find hilarious. Just because, I just find it kind of hilarious because it kind of is just like the encapsulation of everything wrong with Odin being the imperialist bastard that he is. Where it's like, if you left well enough alone and didn't invade the frost giants and steal the prince, maybe the universe wouldn't actually be all that bad.
Yeah, but we have a lot of praises for like 3 episodes in this show, but...
Yeah. This show will still hold a special place in our heart, though, just because it was the first show we reviewed.
Yeah.
But, despite it being special, it was still very mid.
Very.
So next thing after What If was Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings.
So, this one is very weird to talk about. For one, it's the most average. I think it encapsulates what the Marvel formula is supposed to like be in the eyes of the MCU.
Yeah.
Because I will say the one thing that this movie excels at is the fight choreography. Like in the first half, the fight choreography is amazing. It kind of lessens a bit by the end due to like the fact that we have to bring in like
the CGI dragon,
like the CGI dragon, the mystical weapons, all of that stuff. When the hand-to-hand combat is what made this movie stand out, and now that we look back at it a year or so after its release, and we said this when it came out, it's the Marvel formula down to a T. It's just an MCU movie, and it doesn't stand out from the rest. Definitely better than Black Widow, because Black Widow was just very bland. I will say Shang-Chi is pretty average in that. It's a shame too, because Simu Liu did really well in the role, and it's just this movie could have been more, but it's at least average to above average.
I'm actually going to push back a bit on the fight choreography. For one, I watched all 4 Ip Man movies about the real life martial arts master Ip Man in China, the inventor of Wing Chun, and I watched those movies, and then I watched Shang-Chi right after it, and I honestly kind of thought it was pretty bad.
You think so?
After watching Ip Man and seeing what a real martial arts movie like fight choreography is like, I can't agree and say that Shang-Chi was all that good. Especially when I look at the Ip Man one, and then I look at the fight choreography between Steve and Bucky and Winter Soldier, which was a lot more fluid and very good compared to the surprisingly high number of cuts in the Shang-Chi fights.
Like, the best fight, I feel, in the whole movie is the bus fight. The bus fight is probably the best fight in the whole movie.
Yeah.
Because they actually pull off a no-cut fight sequence, and it's pretty good. Like, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
But we also got to take into account that Marvel fight choreography has never been the best. I mean, remember...
Unless it's Daredevil.
Remember, we were hyped about Wakanda Forever's fight choreography, and it only excelled in, like, 2 scenes.
Yeah.
Like, because... compare it to DC fight choreography, where it's, like... It's impactful. There are iconic moments. There's so much there, like... In Marvel, it's just... They're just now... getting to good fight choreography.
Yeah.
Like, Shang-Chi stands out for Marvel, sure, but I see what you're saying with Ip Man. Like I would imagine, like, actual like martial artists took a part in the creation of that movie.
Yeah, Donnie Yen plays Ip Man, and Donnie Yen is... So, Donnie Yen is in the movies, Mike Tyson is in one of them, and the two of them fight. And, in fact, Donnie Yen was afraid Mike Tyson was gonna, like, actually hurt him, but he ended up breaking Mike Tyson's hand when they fought. Also, Mike Tyson has said that if Donnie Yen actually, like, went full pro martial artist, because he's a professional martial artist, but he's not, like, a martial arts fighter professionally. But Mike Tyson said that if Donnie Yen became a professional fighter, he would be one of the greatest. Because of the way the two of them fought. Because it's a high level fight. It's boxing versus Wing Chun by two of the greatest modern day masters of the martial art. And so going back to Shang-Chi and seeing... I was just kind of like, fuck, this is actually not that good.
It's good for Marvel standards. Let's face it, like let's think of a Phase 2 fight. Do you remember what's a major fight in a story? Do you remember
Bucky versus Steve was really good. The first fight at the highway.
But let's think about it. I'll bring up this one. Do you remember Thor versus Loki in the first Thor movie? Do you remember? What are other like climactic fights that like leave no impact whatsoever? Do you like? I'll bring up Black Widow. Black Widow has no good fight choreography.
Yeah.
Like, Shang-Chi excels for a Marvel movie as far as choreography is concerned.
I feel like the high point of Shang-Chi was the actors. Because obviously we had Tony Leung, we had Simu Liu, we had Awkwafina.
Those two characters actually had really good chemistry.
Yeah, I really liked it.
And they did not turn it into a romance, which is appreciated.
Yes, it was appreciated. However...
They're going to get together in the second movie, let's be honest here.
Oh, I wasn't going to say that. I was going to say that the friendship angle is good. However, it plays into an unfortunate stereotype of the sexless Asian male, with how when Asian men are main characters in big Hollywood movies, they have no romances. And if they do have a romance, it's only with another Asian. And this movie kind of plays into the stereotype where Simu Liu is like your stereotypical action hero with no romance plot. And mind you, one would argue it's inappropriate for romance to be in a very family-centric plot. However, considering all the other Marvel movies were able to sneak it in, it falls into the stereotype.
Okay, I can see it. I mean, I appreciated the lack of romance, but...
I appreciated it, but I also understood why it was problematic.
Okay. So, again, Shang-Chi, very average.
Yeah.
I still think the fight choreography is a step up for Marvel in the franchise as a whole.
Yeah.
But it was still fun. I might rewatch it again. It kind of has the same staying power for me as like Iron Man 1. Like,
yeah.
Iron Man 1, not spectacular, but it's what created the Marvel formula in the first place, and I would say they're probably on the same level of quality.
Yeah. I really hope the sequel, Shang-Chi and the Wreckage of Time, has better choreography.
Which, that name.
Yeah, that name, Shang-Chi and the Wreckage of Time, like, makes me think we're not going to get as much martial arts.
No, as soon as he got those rings, let's be honest here, he's no longer a martial artist. He is now a wielder of celestic level weaponry. Like,
okay. You talk about the rings. What about the fucking airbending? You talk about the ring. Okay, airbending is what takes it over for me.
That has inspiration in actual martial arts, though. Let's be fair to that.
Yes, but
like he
was flying.
Like there are actual like what tangent was I about to go on? Like there are actual ways to use that in a hand-to-hand combat, as shown by the beginning of the movie.
Yes, when his aunt kicks his ass, but he was flying when he was fighting the dragon, okay? And so, but yeah, hopefully there's better martial arts in Shang-Chi and the Wreckage of Time. So the next thing is Venom: Let There Be Carnage,
which was better than we expected. I mean, we still gave it a 4, but like
it was better than we expected.
It was better than the first one.
Better than the first one, especially on the fight scene because
I
could actually see it. But for one, it's very short.
Blissfully short.
It's very short, and I feel like that was to the movie's detriment. Carnage was cool, but I didn't get the same deranged psychopath vibes that I get. Because, like, Carnage in the comics is insane. And I know Sovereign lost his mind with the whole Carnage hacking scene.
Oh, yeah. That is not okay. I am sorry, but
It was comic accurate, though. From when Carnage...
You don't think I would have criticized it if I read it in a comics issue?
He jumped into the internet and he took over people's video games and killed them from their video games.
You didn't even bring that up the last time we talked about this movie. This is entirely new, and now it makes me hate this movie again.
I'm saying is that it's less dumb than what it was based on.
So, a step up for Sony. But please do better.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, they didn't.
Andy Serkis has confirmed that there will be a Venom 3, and it's looking like the ending of the trilogy. But the main reason why Venom is even important to the MCU is because it begins the official Sony MCU confirmed same multiverse crossover.
Yeah.
Something that's been theorized, but this movie was the first one to confirm it. In terms of sequel hooks, it looks like Toxin is going to be the antagonist of the third movie with the police sergeant getting monsters. He talks about monsters.
Yeah, not much else I want to say about this movie. Let's move on.
So, moving on to a better movie, The Eternals.
We're back to this disagreement.
Are you telling me you think Eternals is worse than Venom: Let There Be Carnage?
No.
Exactly. A better movie.
Okay, a
better movie.
A 4.5 and a 4 are still not that far apart.
A better movie.
So, the big thing with this movie is that it actually handles a lot of like high concept stuff. Like it tries a lot. The problem is that the skeleton of the movie, it just doesn't work.
So I actually do really like this movie, just because for one it is unique. I swear to fucking God, like it was something that was just not Marvel formulaic for once.
Yeah, that is.
And also the camera work was actually good.
Yeah, no.
And the main issues with it is one, the villain, so the main villain is supposed to be Crow, but he's fucking irrelevant.
It's not. The movie doesn't even drop his name. The movie doesn't drop his name at all, so he's completely irrelevant. And then he decides in the third act, oh yeah, I still exist, and decides to impede on the final fight.
The best moment of Crow was just Icarus is getting his ass kicked by the Eternals, and then you just see Crow out of nowhere just sucker punch him. You're like, oh my God, it's Crow from the top rope! Where did he come from? And then after that, you forget about him.
See, I'm more like, oh right, this character still exists and we don't know his name, but he's in the final fight, so in my audience, I'm like...
Okay, but let's actually talk about the real main villain, Icarus.
Yeah.
Who, considering for what is thousands of years, you were told one thing and one thing alone for your entire life. The only thing you've been told your entire life. Been telling you this your entire life, just says, I changed my mind. Yeah, no, I would be pretty fucking pissed.
The movie is like, oh, these beings are above that of humans, so, and it's just, the characters or godly in any way, but again, at least Icarus is not as bad of a villain as Crow.
Yeah, Richard Madden played him very well. I do not believe for a singular second he is dead. And my biggest theory is the fact that he is going to be one of the main characters in Marvel Zombies. So, if he survived the zombie outbreak, he's surviving flying into the fucking sun.
Wasn't there another theory that, like, he did burn up, but his memory is, like somewhere else in, like, the,
Oh, by Arishem?
Yeah.
I could believe that, too.
That's the theory that I'm willing to go with.
I'm willing to accept it. I just think that Icarus is not going to have his memory right this time.
That could be interesting.
Because Arishem now has no reason to. Think about it. The only reason he was wiping their memories was so that they could never formulate for themselves whether they were going to allow a Celeste to be born or not. But now that that went tits up, what's the point in doing it?
Yeah, that's the theory that I subscribe to when it comes to bringing back his character.
Yeah, what I mean is that he's coming back.
Yeah, like, we both believe that, but just through different means.
Yeah, he's coming back.
Like, this.
My biggest question, though, is whether Ajak and Gilgamesh are coming back.
Probably not.
I feel like
Ajak has less of a reason to come back just because of the fact that, oh yeah, inevitably, like, this could happen again. This specific person, or this like specific Eternal could go down the same path again if things are not if we don't watch over her particularly. So, like,
yeah,
it's
my main thing is I don't know where we're gonna go from here, and I really want an Eternals too, especially because I finished reading the Axe event, the Avengers versus X-Men versus Eternals event. And it delved a lot into Eternals culture. Like, it introduced a lot of different Eternals. And, like, it dealt with whole Thanos' Eternal lineage. And, I just want this movie to get a sequel because I'm really interested in seeing if Chloe Zhao can just make another unique Marvel movie.
Yeah, like,
because I feel like the Eternals were the perfect group to do this kind of movie with. Yeah.
See, this movie has so much in its favor. Like, it handles high concept stuff. It's got concepts of, like, oh, what if what if the survival of the human race hinges on the morality of these, like, godly beings? The problem is that
who have varying levels of attachment to humans.
The problem being, this movie just doesn't have a good foundation to build upon that.
I'm thinking the second movie will have a better one.
Yeah, especially considering, like, Chloe Zhao is, like, she's an Academy Award winning, I believe.
Yeah,
like, and she has experience making good movies, but I'm sure this is her first like dive into the superhero genre. So.
Yeah, I think she's gonna get more freedom next time around.
Hopefully.
And should be really interesting. I mean, the biggest thing about Eternals was the introduction of Harry Styles to the MCU, playing Star Fox, Thanos' brother. I really do wonder how they're going to handle that whole thing.
Yeah, and we had this whole conversation before. Like, we discussed, like, how his concept of his superpowers is very problematic, and how we would make the adjustment of how, like, oh, maybe he has the ability to influence the mind, but not necessarily make people, like, batshit crazy for him.
Yeah, like, yeah. That'll be,
Like, I think that's a better use, like, to make a change to their powers, because, I mean, like, Phase 4 is not opposed to changing superheroes' powers for the battle for Miss Marvel.
Yeah. So, we'll see. After that, we had Hawkeye.
Which again, a very mid show.
Very mid. Looking back on it, it was also touted as, like, a Christmas show, and it really...
It doesn't fulfill it.
It doesn't fulfill it, especially now that we have the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special, which feels like a proper Christmas-themed Marvel production.
Yeah, and also, like, the thing with Haley Steinfeld's character is that, like, we're getting a lot of, like, young, like, superhero fangirls. And I hate to say it, but, like, Miss Marvel fulfills that role a lot better.
Yeah. I feel like they're gonna, like, change her up a bit.
They kind of have to because like
I feel like they're gonna, just because, like, she's already met her idol and has been trained under him and has already seen the worst parts about him. Like, so she kind of has to,
like, even in the comics, like, when you think of, oh, we have a person who is a fangirl for certain superheroes, the first one that typically comes up to mind is Kamala.
Yeah, not Kate. But
yeah, it's unfortunate, but, like, yeah, Kate Bishop's character is a little, and it's her character takes up a majority. Like, it is her story and not Clint's story,
which I'm fine with. I think the big issue was just I just feel like it was lacking something.
And also, Kingpin was criminally underused in this show.
Yeah, in all honesty, I feel like the show would have been much better if they brought him in from the very beginning.
Uh-huh.
I genuinely feel they should have brought him in from the very beginning, and that they should not have written the show with marketing in mind. You know? Because you could very well tell that Kingpin's appearance in the second to last and last episode were written for Twitter. Not written because it made sense for the story.
Also, in no way does Kate Bishop survive a head-on beating from Kingpin.
Yeah, normally Kingpin would kill her, and the only reason she got lucky was blowing up the arrows. I personally would have just never had them face each other in a fight.
There is no way she's prepared for a fight. Like, the fact that she wins that fight at all is purely based on luck.
Exactly. I feel like, but also the biggest issue I have with Kate versus Kingpin is that they have no emotional connection.
And that's why they needed to bring him in earlier in the show.
They needed to give us some reason for their connection to be emotional, because Clint doesn't face him. Not that there would have been any real emotional connection between Clint and him anyway.
Yeah, and
the biggest emotional connection is between Yelena and Clint.
Yeah, and remember, back when we first reviewed the show, I had we had a pretty big disagreement on, like, the plot of the show, but now that time has passed and a year has passed, I think you're more inclined to agree with me that that plot was intriguing in the slightest.
It really wasn't, looking back on it. So the only highlights I can really think of is Tony Dalton's performance. He was very good, as well as
what's her
Florence
name?
Pugh.
No, not just Florence Pugh. What's her name? The one that plays the one that plays Echo.
Oh yeah, Alakwa Cox.
Yeah,
yes.
No, she was actually really good.
She was really good. I feel like this show was, in hindsight, it was treated less like a Hawkeye show and more like, this is how we're setting up the Daredevil part of the universe, and we don't have any other characters that can actually make this work.
I'm gonna be upfront and say it. The best part of this show was Kingpin's drip. That's it.
Yep.
That's the only good part of the show, is his drip.
Honestly, yeah. But I do have faith that Kate is going to be a better character.
Yeah, inevitably when they introduced, like, the Young Avengers or the West Coast Avengers or whatever they decide to bring her in, she's going to have some role that's she'll probably shine in, but she does have to differentiate herself from Kamala, considering that
Kamala is her archetype done better.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, moving on from Hawkeye, we have Spider-Man No Way Home.
Let's face it, this movie was amazing, heavily carried by nostalgia, but that doesn't degrade it one single bit. It is still one of the most memorable movies we've gotten in this entire phase.
Yeah, it was.
Let's face
it. It was the best movie since Endgame to watch in theaters, and with a crowd.
Yeah, like the big problem with this phase is that, think about it. In a post Endgame and Infinity War world, when have crowds gotten hyped in theaters? It was No Way Home and Wakanda Forever. That's it.
That's pretty much it. Reed Richards and Charles Xavier.
Not no.
My theater, yeah, they
And
went ham.
especially considering like, as like 10 minutes later, you realized, wow, those characters were not implemented in this movie well at all.
Yeah,
But moving back to No Way Home, this movie is just solid. It's not groundbreaking by any means, but it's like this is a very feel good movie. This is just a perfect Spider-Man movie because let's face it, the Green Goblin is probably the most threatening villain in all of the cinematic appearances for Spider-Man, and the fact that they bring him back and just show him, yeah, no, your villains are going to get this evil. Your villains are vindictive and just downright evil. Like, I hate to say it, but like Green Goblin is a top 5 MCU villain, and he's not even in the MCU proper.
He really was. My favorite part about the Green Goblin was just the brutality of how he fought. Like,
and also
the way he literally grabbed Peter, threw him at the ceiling, bounced him from the ceiling, and then pile drove him through 4 floors.
And also, like, they expanded on like a good chunk of the villains because
except for Sandman.
Well, he didn't even want to be there.
Sandman was just like, I want to go home.
That actor did like both the actor and the character did not want to be in that movie.
Yeah.
But the performances of the villains really expand upon like just the whole concept of how they were introduced. Like, remember with Green Goblin, there are 2 split personalities, but in this one, there's more of an implication of both sides fighting each other, which was slightly hinted at in the movie proper that he was introduced in.
Yeah.
But in this MCU movie, it's like it's front and center that this is what his character is about.
Yeah. Doc Ock he was memorable. I mean, everyone lost their mind when we first saw him in the first trailer.
Yeah.
But it was just really solid. Obviously, seeing the other 2 Spider-Men on screen was surreal. It was it's just like a milestone.
One of my siblings actually like stayed away from like trailers and leaks and all that, so to watch them like completely understand like, oh, this is what the movie's doing, without having any idea about leaks or trailers or anything was.
That's pretty difficult, especially because the concept of the 3 Spider-Men was
it was like Hollywood's worst kept secret.
Yeah. The main thing is that there were elements of the plot that was changed. For one, initially the one to fuck up the spell would have been America Chavez and not Doctor Strange, which thematically makes more sense with her power set and where she would be character-wise.
I still disagree on that, mostly because this whole thing, I feel like for this plot to have worked perfectly, this whole thing has to be Spider-Man's fault.
Oh, no, what I mean is not that America is at fault, it's that she's the one that does the spell, and Peter still fucks it up. But the reason why it would have made more sense thematically is because her powers allow her to go through universes, so her doing magic would have caused the multiverse, like, would have been the reason why it would cause multiversal characters to come through. Not just the fact that a memory spell broke the multiverse. It would made more thematic sense that the literal character whose powers involve the multiverse would produce something like that.
I still think that Doctor Strange was the better pick, mostly because Doctor Strange needs to be an important like piece of this plot to be able to chastise and critique him.
Oh, no, he is. He was going to be it. America was the one that fucks up the spell. And so when Strange is chastising them, he's chastising the 4 of them for being this immature and not thinking through everything. He was supposed to be like the dad of the movie in the sense that like he's like you completely like basically he would give the same speech all over again, but also talk to America about how like she disobeyed Wong and basically Strange would have still been like a force throughout the movie. It's just that America would have been the one that fucked it up. And I feel like that also you can kind of see it a bit with the sense that for a while, like, there was just no way Spider-Man could take on all 5 villains, and it very much felt like this was supposed to be a 2v5 at times instead of a 1v5 before the obvious, like, ending fight.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's because WandaVision, No Way Home, and Multiverse of Madness all swapped places. So, that's why. Originally it was supposed to be, I believe it was supposed to be WandaVision, Multiverse, then No Way Home, and now it became WandaVision, No Way Home, Multiverse.
Yeah. Either way, this movie was fantastic.
Yeah, it was
worth the watch, worth revisiting.
Yeah.
It's just a great movie.
It was good. Then moving from that movie to Morbius,
which we all knew it was bad, but jeez, we had no idea. We had no idea how much of a cultural impact not watching this movie would be. Like, we did not expect it at all.
God, the movie was...
It was bad.
Bad.
It was bad. Probably one of the worst movies that we've ever seen for this channel.
There's almost no redeeming qualities, and the thing that actively made me hate this movie more was the absurd MCU connection. I was expecting a connection to the MCU, which I would have been fine with, but the way they did it was so horrendous. Like, I hate everything about that post-credit scene. I hate from the fact that the memory spell somehow transported Adrian Toomes to the Sonyverse. I hate the fact that, for some reason, his appearance in prison makes the news. Adrian Toomes is in prison. Nigga, no one knows who the fuck he is! Why is he on the news in New York City?
White man appears in prison. Other news, California completely reinstates the death penalty, everybody.
Yeah, and then of course the fact that he gets his Vulture suit, despite the fact that his Vulture suit is only existing because of Ultron, and then the something to do with Spider-Man, and it's like, what do you mean, Spider-Man?
Actually, isn't it the Chitauri that he gets his stuff
Yes,
from?
the Chitauri.
Yeah.
Well,
which now makes even less sense, because the only aliens in that universe would be Venom. Like, the symbiotes are the only known villains in that universe, and as far as I'm aware, symbiotes have no connection to any technology whatsoever.
I hate this movie. So we're gonna move on to something better. Moon Knight.
This one was, oh my god, paying attention to this show was so rewarding.
It really was. This show was really good. It handled the mental health aspect of it really well, in my opinion.
Yeah. One common complaint for this show is that the pacing in the show overall could have been better, but, like, I don't care.
Yeah.
I really don't care. Like, this show is just such a good watch, and just the fact that it is able to be watched on its own without knowledge of the broader MCU. Oh man, I'm dying to rewatch this one now, because
it was just really good. The fights were actually good for when we could see them, and I do appreciate the narrative decision to cut out certain fights.
Yeah.
I feel like we are going to see them in season 2.
Yeah. And what sucks is that I'm afraid that Arthur Harrow is only going to have staying power for us, because he is a very, like, maniacal villain. Like,
he's a very good villain, considering he's a literal Z-list character in Marvel Comics. So,
but, like, he's manipulative enough to manipulate the gods to bend them to his own will. Like,
yeah,
it's so sad that he's not like a god amongst men, like, being able to, like, throw waves of energy at people just to, like, to, like, destroy people at whim. But his, like, the way that he acts as a villain is a lot more subtle.
Yeah.
And just the performances, all three main characters, my god,
they were all just really good. And then, of course, the reveal of Jake Lockley at the end was so good.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just overall, it was just a really good show. Oscar Isaac really did well. This really saved his relationship with Disney after Star Wars thoroughly burned him.
Like, in interviews, he's like, man, they should have just killed me off in the first movie, I swear.
I mean, that was the original plan. Poe was not supposed to survive the first 10 minutes. But let's change topics before I read about J.J. Abrams. So yeah, overall it was really good. Yeah. And
I would say the only reason that I put Moon Knight under Loki is because of the pacing. But again, when I rewatched the show, I don't care.
It's just really good. Just
like
Mark and
fundamentally, I have to put it under Loki, just because that problem is there. But like, when I watch the show, I don't care. I only notice that problem looking back.
Yeah,
especially again, what elevates this show for me is the fact that it rewards you for paying attention.
Yeah, and also just the character writing is very good.
Yeah, yeah, and also just the fact that Layla slays in this show.
Yeah, she's actually really good. So I'm really glad. Moving on to another actually good project, Miss Marvel.
Yeah. I would say for me it's on the level as Shang-Chi, because this was the beginning of my downward spiral into like doomer critiquing, but like Miss Marvel, it still holds up.
It was really good. The main issue being the main villains.
Oh god, those were awful.
The clandestine were
Their 180 was the worst thing that I've ever seen for Marvel villains.
It was so fast. Like the one moment they're like, "Oh hi, hey, howdy ho, neighbor," and then like the moment Kamala was just like, "Hey, can you do this for us?" She's like, "Yeah, let me think about it for a second." They're like, "You fool! You're gonna ruin all the plans! Kill her!" And you're like, I don't think she was gonna disagree. I think she just needed a bit of time. Like, goddamn.
Yeah. Like, the side characters were cute and all of that. Like, their interactions with Kamala were great. There was some decent commentary in it. But, like, for this show isn't for our age demographic, unfortunately.
Yeah, Waleed, wow. Death Flag incarnate. Like, holy fuck. He's, like, introduced in one episode, and by the end of the episode, you just know he's dying.
That's the fate of all mentor characters, unfortunately.
Yeah, but, overall, this show was definitely, in my opinion, created for teenagers and preteens, and I feel that if I was in that age demographic if this show came out, I would love it.
Yeah. I will say, remember, this show still excels at showing a character or a person born of foreign parents.
Yeah,
adapting to American life.
Yeah, the immigrant, just everything about the immigrant background and immigrant families was really well done.
That was very apparent in the first 2 or 3 episodes, and we praised the show heavily for that. And yeah. I think those praises still are deserved.
Yeah. Also, I didn't mention this in Moon Knight, but this also started. Moon Knight started it, and this show continued the trend of every episode having a QR code with a comic inside of it, so you could read comics after you. Every episode, there's a QR code that if you scan, it leads you to a comic. It was in Moon Knight. It's in this. It's in Miss Marvel. I've already said this. Moon Knight, this, She-Hulk, and Werewolf by Night.
Yeah.
Okay. But so, moving on from Miss Marvel, we have Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness.
So, the cinematography was pretty. Other than that,
it was disappointing.
It was very disappointing. Like, the biggest problem is, like, the Illuminati just... It serves no purpose in the plot. They diverge from the plot to interact with these characters, and just they're slaughtered in 5 minutes.
Yeah. Also, just Wanda. Just
I could buy Wanda as a villain.
I could buy her as a villain. My main issue with her was just I feel like we needed to see a bit of her descent. Just because
and WandaVision should have been the one to show that.
Yeah, because like she's now just fully like I'm going to find a universe where I'm gonna become their mom, and I'm just sitting here and I'm just thinking like, why don't you just go to a universe where they don't have a mom? Why are you going to
the problem is that I think that's even brought up in the movie, and just the movie decides to ignore it and continue the plot.
Yeah. This movie's main thing was fan service of the cameos and incursions.
Yeah.
I will say the Doctor Strange versus evil Doctor Strange fight was pretty good. The music
it was
fight
very
was really
creative. Good. I will say, like, the one thing that this show does is just create more Wanda simps. That's what this does, because like
and it's also like, oh, he broke the rules, but it's like, wait a minute. When he broke the rules, he brought back half the universe. When you broke the rules, you just tortured people. This is like, I hate the fact that the movie treated it as equivalent and then just let it sit there and never went against it. I'm like, wait a minute. The thing you're criticizing him for is the time stone shenanigans, which was an objectively good thing to do, versus you torturing people.
Yeah, like, in a consequentialist perspective, like...
And you can very much tell that was a moment left from the fact that this movie was written with No Way Home being the sequel, because that would have been a more prescient thing to bring up.
Yeah.
As him fucking up the rules. But...
Oh, man.
But the horror movie aspect was...
It was non-existent.
I was really hoping this... Because it was always pitched as, like, Marvel's first horror movie, and
especially with Sam Raimi, like, taking charge of it. Like, yeah, the shots were filmed pretty nice and all, but, like, what was the horror aspect in it? Wanda was covered in oil in one scene. She came out of, like,
she came out of a red cloud and snapped Patrick Stewart's neck.
She came out of a musical instrument, kind of weird and alien-like. That's about it.
Yeah.
That's it.
And also the Christine plot line was very rushed. The fact that he goes through all of this development with not his Christine is like, excuse me? But then also because you could just tell that they were like, so we want to introduce his real love interest, but we have to deal with this Christine bitch, so we'll figure that one out.
I'm still convinced that the incursion is the fact that Adrian Toomes is in the Sonyverse. I am convinced that is the incursion that they created, and that this will be the way to finally delete the Sonyverse from existence. That is my theory. I am sticking with it. It is still here even a year later. That's what I'm going with.
This movie was mainly just to set up Secret Wars. This movie was meant to set up Secret Wars and introduce Doctor Strange's real love interest, his real wife, being Clea. Also, America Chavez was in it, and she was good.
She was fine.
Wong was underutilized.
Yeah,
but that's fine because he'll have his own appearance next.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate because, like, America Chavez was, like, the first Hispanic actress to, like, helm a movie when later on we get, what's his name? Dang it, last movie that just came out. Why am I forgetting this?
Oh, Tuna Cuerta?
Yeah. When we get him, and he is a much better actor to helm the, like...
Also because he was in a much better movie.
That is true.
He was just... Like, I feel like Xochitl Gomez could have done really well if she was allowed to be in a better movie.
The problem with that is that she's the damsel in distress in this movie. That's her role.
Yeah. This movie was just...
Like, her role was to be the damsel in distress and to help Doctor Strange in the fish out of water scenes.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, this movie was just very disappointing. And unfortunately, so was the next movie.
The next movie was not any better. In fact, this movie was worse, and it's Thor: Love and Thunder. Jesus Christ, what happened, Taika Waititi? Like, your movies are so good. Why?
He just kind of played into everything that people was like, everything people liked about
Ragnarok.
About Ragnarok, he was like, let's do that, but let's just make it annoying. Like, Korg, in my opinion, ruined this movie because a lot of the horribly placed humor is courtesy of his character because he is an author insert.
Yeah. Like, I feel like Thor's character was handled really badly because, like, a post-Endgame Thor, like, yeah, he went through Ragnarok, but, like, he should be a lot more battle-hardened than he is in this movie.
Yeah.
Like, it's only apparent in the final act where he's like, okay, I gotta buckle down and make sure that these kids are ready to take on this army of darkness. But that's about it. In the planning to rescue the kids, it's extremely, like, light, and there's too much levity for his character. Also, just when he was first introduced, just complete and total whiplash from his last appearance.
Yeah.
And also, why were the Guardians in this movie if they were just going to be thrown away?
Yeah. Honestly, the Guardians are just... They're just throwaway characters. They were really just... The Guardians were really only there to bring in the goats.
Yeah. And literally the only reason the goats are in the movie is because, oh yeah, I thought it would be funny to pass those goats on to James Gunn when it comes to his movie. That's legit the only reason they're there.
Yeah. Wait, I thought he took them off the Benatar.
That was the reason behind the scenes, that he wrote in those goats.
Oh, okay. But,
like, the best thing about this movie is Gore.
Yeah, Gore is really good, but the problem is that...
He gets no screen time.
It feels like whenever he's in the movie, it's a different movie.
Yeah. Like, remember back when we were talking about the trailers and we praised, like, the potential for, for good cinematography in a black and white setting? That was unique in and of itself, and it was really nice. And that's kind of the problem, is that the movie's only good when he's on screen.
Yeah, and he's not on screen much. I feel like the Jane Foster storyline was rushed. Like, I kind of feel like we needed more than one project with Jane Foster as Thor to kind of sell it.
Yeah.
I feel like this movie just going from she's Thor to dead, and you're like, oh, okay. And also how Thor's whole arc in this is, can you take me back, please? Please. Both in a sense to Jane and to Mjolnir, which is also like.
Also, just the whole like, oh, Stormbreaker is sentient and is like asking for attention. Like, okay, now this is a little too juvenile.
Yeah, it's just kind of. And Valkyrie, I feel like she got like no development.
Like, the only thing that she got was the implication that she might be gay.
That was already implied back during Ragnarok.
Yeah, like, that's the only thing that her character is used for, really. Let's be honest here.
Yeah, and it also doesn't help that there was the whole controversy between the fact that Taika Waititi was sleeping with her while the movie was in production. Which, I mean, I don't know how much that affected how much screen time she was given, but it felt like her character was just static.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I mean, and then there was Zeus and Hercules, and, I mean, the original plot of the movie, Zeus was going to be less antagonistic. And I guess Hercules was, by extension, going to be less antagonistic.
Yeah, how in the world is Hercules going to fit in all of just...
Yeah, I don't know how Hercules is even gonna work.
Like, how many open plot threads do we have in Phase 4 in general? Like, we've got the Thunderbolts, we've got Arishem, we've got Star Fox, we've got Hercules,
we have what's it called? We have the fucking Gamma shit in New World Order. We have Wakanda and the United States are about to enter open armed conflict. The TVA is now under Kang. Kang is also having Scott do a job for him. Spider-Man has been reset. The incursions are happening.
Like,
there's the symbiote running around.
The phase is all over the place, and there's just... We need to get back on the multiverse thing, because nothing relevant to it is happening, except for Quantumania. That's the next project in line to have something.
The only thing that could be potentially a reference to maybe Secret Wars is the Valhalla scene. The fact that Jane and Heimdall, and probably by extension Odin and Frigga, are probably still alive. Well, alive.
Yeah.
The fact that Moon Knight has already introduced the fact that the afterlife can be returned to, like, you can return from the afterlife, kind of means that these characters are coming back.
Yeah. Also, people clowning on the CGI in this movie.
Wow.
Yeah, no, the CGI was pretty bad. Like, remember everybody clowning on Heimdall's son? And that appearance? Like, oh boy.
Yeah. There's also, it's just disappointing all around.
Yeah, but let's get on to the next project here.
She-Hulk.
It got better as the show went along.
Yeah, as the show got along, the episodes got better, which not many shows really do.
Yeah. Because, let's face it, the first few episodes, they were not funny. But as the show went along, the plot actually came together, they started actually telling decent jokes, and the ending happened, and it's like, yeah, I know what you're doing, show, but like, can you not give me a headache, please?
It's like the show, like, it's not like they failed the landing. It's more like they stumbled while landing. Like, you know, have you seen gymnastics at the Olympics? Yeah. You know, like, they do all the impressive twirly shit, and it gets better and better and better, and then they land and they take a step forward, and that's like, it's over, it's ruined. That's kind of like that. Like, they did a bunch of impressive shit that got better and better, and then they kind of just stumbled. They didn't fail the landing, but they stumbled on it.
Yeah. But
I feel like the fact that Todd and Jen don't have a conversation is something that I really did not... I just feel like it was something that was a very missed opportunity. I was happy that they weren't going with a stereotypical fight. I was really happy about that. But the fact that Todd and Jen don't talk was the big thing for me. I was like, why aren't we getting the main villain and the main hero conversing about their shared antagonism?
Like, based on the conversation with the Kevin AI, I expected that, like, her to completely, like, reset and start over from the beginning. Like, yeah, that involves some time shenanigans, sure, but, like, we're in the writer's room at Marvel Studios. You can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
So, like, I expected her to walk in knowing a little bit of what's going to happen, because, let's face it, she's a fourth wall breaking character. She'll do that anyway.
Yeah.
But I expected them to restart the scene and have it play completely differently, and that other part would have just been for jokes.
Yeah, but I mean, it still got better as time goes on. I think they handled her fourth wall breaks really well.
They were very unintrusive, and they are things that her character would say.
And also very distinct from Deadpool's fourth wall breaks.
Yes.
Deadpool's are very in your face and deliberate, while Jen's are just kind of like...
They're casual.
Oh, yeah, she's just like, I know you guys are happy to see Wong. And you're just like, yeah. And then she just goes back to doing it. Wong was actually really good in this show.
Yeah. Of course, Daredevil like mixed opinions from people. We have the opinion that he was fantastic.
Yeah, he was good. The introduction of more mutants with Mr. Immortal and El Aguilar, and the fact that this is kind of the backdoor prequel to New World Order with the reintroduction of the Gamma characters. Also, Hulk Scar is here.
Yeah.
So,
but
Young Avengers.
This show does leave with the implication that Marvel is going to get better from here. Yeah. Which, based on the next 3 projects that we'll talk about, well, next 2 considering we can't really discuss the holiday special again.
Yeah.
The next 2 projects are really good, so let's go ahead and get into the next one.
So the next one is I Am Groot. And,
I don't want to talk about that one. There's nothing to discuss. There's nothing to discuss about that.
So I Am Groot was actually, it was good for what it set out to do. They were good. They were like small, like 3 to 5 minute shorts that were meant for children that were just really well animated.
I don't like the fact that they were all CGI. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, I don't like the fact they were all CGI, but I mean, it wasn't like it was bad CGI. Except for a bit on Rocket at the end.
Yeah. I mean, again, cute and offensive, whatever. Not what I wanted to talk about anyway. Let's move on.
So our next topic is Werewolf by Night.
Which, sleeper hit, honestly. Nobody expected this one to be good at all.
You didn't think it existed for the longest time.
Because they didn't announce it until like 2 weeks before.
But I was right. I had been saying for over a year that this project had existed. And that it was going to be interesting, and it did exist, and it was actually pretty good.
Yeah.
I like the fact that they maintained the black and white style all the way until the very end.
Yeah, and it was really, like, you could tell it was intentionally done and not like, oh, it's a horror movie and Halloween, so let's just do it black and white. No, it was obvious from the beginning.
And also the fact that the only senses of color we got was the Bloodstone. Yeah. I thought that was really good.
Yeah, very obvious from the beginning that this was their intention and that this was what they wanted to do with it, and it wasn't just plastered on at the end. I would say, like, the weakest part of this special is the fact that the characters have little to no development at all, but it's a short. It's not a full movie. There's not much room for it anyway, so it's like, it's kind of forgivable.
Yeah, and also the fact that it takes place in the MCU, but...
Again, with Moon Knight, it has the same praises. It can be watched on its own.
Yeah, the only reference to the wider MCU is the picture of the original 6 Avengers at the beginning of the movie.
Yep.
So, yeah, it was really good. I liked it. I can't wait for probably the sequel.
Yeah.
I've heard rumors that the sequel will be Man-Thing centric. So, let's hope. Let's hope it's good. After that, it is Wakanda Forever. And,
which we reviewed less than a month ago, and our praises still hold. That movie is really damn good, and it surprised all of us.
Especially because it was the movie we were looking forward to the least, and it was the best of the entire phase.
It was quite literally the ending to the phase that we could have wished for.
Yep, it was really well. It was a proper tribute to both Chadwick Boseman and T'Challa as a character. Letitia Wright knocked it out of the park. Shuri's character arc was really good.
It was almost enough to make me forgive her for the things that she said behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Like...
Almost!
Like, she killed it in this role. But
it was also really good. It was also the first black female-centric superhero movie, and it did a phenomenal job on that front. And
also the Hispanic representation hard carries this film.
It was just a very great movie, all things considered. Namor was really well done. Very different from his comic book counterpart, which is...
Considering he's just a white guy from the ocean who just wears spandex.
Yeah. I did like how the movie at the very end at least kept his catchphrase, Imperious Rex.
Yes.
At the very end. So overall, it was really good, and it definitely sets up the Earth-based events to be pretty chaotic leading into Secret Invasion.
Yeah.
With the fact that, the CIA is leading the charge in the war against Wakanda, the fact that one of their agents is now an expat in Wakanda, fact that while this war is happening, there's the power broker, Sharon Carter, siphoning their resources, and the fact that they're probably all Skrulls anyway. So man, overall, Phase 4 as a whole was...
It was a really mixed bag, not gonna lie. Like, again, the top 3 projects were probably, like...
Loki, Wakanda Forever, Moon Knight.
Yeah. Yeah, and just... Oh, man. Now I'm gonna put No Way Home over Moon Knight. I'm sorry. Just... The nostalgia in that movie carries it so much.
The top 5 are definitely Loki, Wakanda Forever, Moon Knight, No Way Home, and Werewolf by Night. In any order, those are definitely the top 5 of the phase.
Yeah, and it's strange that a holiday special for Halloween is better than half of the phase.
It's better than most of the phase.
Yeah. Like, looking back, this phase was really rough.
It was really rough this time around,
but like, now that COVID's over, we're getting, like, the tail end of this phase was almost fantastic.
Exactly. They definitely finished strong. It makes me hopeful for Quantumania,
especially considering that Ant-Man 1 was very mid, Ant-Man 2 was really bad, so. We have high hopes coming off of this.
Yes.
We are happy hopium consumers.
Except when you remember that Kraven the Hunter is coming out first.
Bish what?
Kraven. Wait, is Kraven still coming out in January?
I thought... Wait. Pull up Sony's release schedule for the Sonyverse, please, because I need to verify this, because no news about any Sony movies have come out in the past year.
Okay, never mind. They changed it. I forgot. It was originally going to come out in January. Now it's moved to October. So, moving forward for Phase 5, we have What If Season 2, Quantumania, Guardians 3, Secret Invasion, Echo, Loki Season 2, The Marvels, Ironheart, X-Men 97, Kraven the Hunter, Agatha Coven of Chaos, El Muerto, Madam Web, Daredevil Born Again, Thunderbolts, New World Order, Marvel Zombies, Wonder Man, Vision Quest. We didn't talk about Vision Quest, did we?
No, we did.
Oh, we did?
Yeah, we did.
Okay.
Yeah, because I specifically remember you telling me about how Vision Quest and Wonder Man are probably going to be extremely connected together.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, Wonder Man, Vision Quest, Blade, Deadpool 3, Venom 3, Armor Wars, the movie, Fantastic Four, Avengers the Kang Dynasty, Silk, Spider Society, Avengers Secret Wars, Midnight Angels, and Spider-Woman.
Yeah. Aside from all those Sony properties, MCU's going to be looking pretty good. Like, there's definitely a lot to look forward to.
Yep.
But, still can't get over the fact that they made Kraven the Hunter an animal lover.
I don't know what the fuck they were smoking. Anyways, so moving on from Marvel, just because we didn't really touch on this, Wave 3 of the Mario Kart 8 Booster Pass DLC.
Fully announced in its entirety. And, thank God they're bringing back the best Rainbow Road in the franchise.
Yeah.
But other than that, we'll be reviewing it when it comes out in about a week.
Yeah.
A week or 2 weeks. So within that time frame, we'll have a full review of them, because it's good to see some new ones. But and also Maple Treeway. Maple Treeway's coming back.
Yeah. Now let's move on to our next topic, which was something that we were not expecting to talk about, but something that is pretty big going on, which is the cancellation of the Smash World Tour. Now, the story of this is actually pretty insane. So basically what happened was that if you're into competitive Smash, then you would know that after years of working, the community finally secured itself not one but two competitive circuits for both Melee and Smash Ultimate. We had the Panda Cup run by Nintendo and Panda Gaming, and we also had the Smash World Tour run by VG Bootcamp. And for a while, everything was looking good. Everything was looking good. We were entering what was going to be the second renaissance of Smash. And this year's Panda Cup finale and Smash World Tour Championships were going to be the biggest. It was looking like it was going to be like the next apex in terms of like Smash development of skill and entertainment. And now it's all gone. And the reason is because behind the scenes, the CEO of Panda Gaming, Alan Bunny, aka Samurai Panda, who has been in the community since 2006. So this guy has been in the community for a while. He had been actually basically running a protection racket of sorts through the community. Basically, he wanted the Panda Cup to be the sole exclusive Nintendo affiliated Smash circuit. And it was never outright stated, but everyone kind of knew the Smash World Tour was going to be valued more than the Panda Cup, just because the Panda Cup was very North American centric, and so it was very North American centric, and it was heavily Wi-Fi based for a lot of it, so like people kind of didn't take it as seriously. Meanwhile, the Smash World Tour, everyone took a lot more seriously. And I guess from the ego, I guess if you look at it from a very egotistical venture capitalist sense, that's not good. That your circuit isn't the premier circuit and you're the one with the Nintendo. And so in an effort to basically simultaneously boost the Panda Cup and also potentially launch Panda Global into being a tier 1 organization on the level of TSM, Cloud9, FaZe, 100 Thieves, he basically started getting into the ear of Nintendo, telling them, hey, like, they don't have a commercial license, they have a community license, and they're running this circuit, but that's not fair. We have our circuit with you, our, like, the official Nintendo circuit, and we have to do all this, but why are they allowed to be who they are? Because, surprisingly enough, Nintendo was working with VGBC and was actually trying to partner with the Smash World Tour. They wanted, Nintendo for once actually wanted to keep both circuits running and just finally have something set up where competitive Smash was officially reined in. It was actually, Nintendo was actually going to do something good. There were talks about the fact that they were going to partner for the Smash World Tour for next year, and not as a result, but definitely helping, was that the Smash World Tour 2023 season was actually going to boost its prize pool to, I believe, $350K, which is a lot for Smash. And so it all came crashing down. The Smash World Tour on Thanksgiving was given a cease and desist by Nintendo. And so the Smash World Tour, like the last chance qualifier, the championship, as well as the rest of the 2022 season and all of 2023 were completely gutted. On top of the fact that the two premier events that VGBC runs, being the Glitch series of tournaments and Double Down, have also been canceled. VGBC is now completely run into the shitter financially. Their biggest financial endeavors are all been cut by Nintendo. And they basically decided to, you know what, we're going to reveal all this. And they basically revealed that Samurai Panda was basically just trying to muscle out all other, like, groups within the Smash community so he could be the only one running tournaments, and his circuit was the only thing running. And it was turned out that he was trying to push out Beyond the Summit, who runs the Smash Summit series, who got their start in Dota. He was trying to push out Golden Guardians, who are an esports team that is an extension of the Golden State Warriors, which had a lot of money. That was a lot of money potentially coming into Smash. Trying to push them out, trying to push out just anyone that wasn't willing to like get on board with the Panda Cup. And this has created an immense backlash. People are DQing out of the Panda Cup, and they're not coming anymore. There's been mass amount of people who have decided to resign from Panda because this was something unilaterally being made by Samurai Panda. And there are the players, Esam, Wadi, Mars, Plup, IBDW. They're all like, potentially, they're all looking at this and thinking like, we may have to leave this organization now after what they're doing to the community. And it's just really bad. And it's really kind of a reminder that unfettered capitalism is the enemy. It will ruin everything in your life. Even when you don't think it has an effect on your life, like playing Smash Brothers at tournaments, the ever gaping maw of late stage capitalism just rips it out. Because the only reason this is happening is because of money. Samurai Panda wants more money and more prestige. And he is incentivized by capitalism standards to destroy the competition to maximize profits on his end. So he's able to weaponize his relationship with Nintendo to basically destroy the Smash scene. And for what? The only thing that's left now is main stage. After that, no one's going to go to the Panda Cup. Panda Global is losing subscribers on all their social media. Their players are probably going to leave. I mean, what the hell? What was all this for? And VGBC, Video Game Boot Camp, who has been one of the pillars of the Smash community ever since the Melee days, could potentially go under with Gimmer, Apostle, and so many others that work there potentially losing it all. I mean, Gimmer's a known guy. He's a figure in gaming. I mean, you remember the slingshot reveal live stream and how Back to the Lab Again basically was trending on the internet for like 3 days. It's just really sad. I don't know how much about that you knew.
Yeah, no, that's all news to me.
Yeah, it's just really shitty. This is the textbook example of capitalism at its end state. It's just going to ruin everything for you. It takes away the fun in everything. Like, capitalism dictates that you always make profits, and Samurai Panda is a venture capitalist through and through, and he decided that, you know what? In the pursuit of profit, I will destroy everything. All the clout that I have amassed in the... He started Smash in 2006. In the... Nearly, 18... nearly, 16 years of doing this, of being in the Smash community and building up all this goodwill. He's completely destroyed. Not only that, he's completely destroyed the reputation as Panda as an organization with the wider FGC, because now that lets other FGC tournament organizers know that, their relationship with Bandai Namco or Arc System Works or NetherRealm Studios could all be their own tournament circuits. And what if Panda tries to cozy up to Combat Cup or Capcom Cup or the Dragon Ball World Tour, and suddenly all these grassroots events in the fighting game community start disappearing in favor of Panda Cup events? That's pretty scary to think that something that communities have built up for decades could all be wiped away by just one corporation. One corporation coming in and just crushing the competition, and in turn crushing the spirit of the community and the competition of the game, which is what you were trying to profit off of from the very beginning.
Yeah.
It's horrible. And the PG stats, Panda Global stats, completely lost all credibility. Not that they were a part of it, but now, because of what we know about Panda Global, it now calls into question people, like, they switched over. So on one hand, this prompts people to now go to support community done ranking systems like Orion Rank or Omega Rank, and support Let's Make Big Moves or Genesis. Just the entire community is in complete disarray. Using Nintendo as a weapon to crush the competition. And this is only possible because capitalism as a system and the crushing of grassroots, commercial, community-driven things by corporations is something that capitalism always dictates. And you can extrapolate that to why, social atomization is so bad. I mean, think about living in communities nowadays and how it's so difficult because everything is so commodified, as well as just, optimized for, profits first and foremost. Think about that on a macro sense. Now think of your Smash tournament. Something very micro level is now being torn apart by it. Just really shows that capitalism is an evil system that, at the end of the day, runs contrary to core human values of community. So I wanted to bring that up because, Smash is something we both love. Sovereign goes to more tournaments than I do, but I recognize the value, even outside of being a Smash fan, I recognize the value of community-driven events, community-driven circuits, community-driven just anything. Things done from the ground up by people, for the love of what they're doing. That is something that needs to be maintained throughout society. And just having it done by a corporation completely divorced from the community it claims to want to represent is just disheartening.
Yeah. And it's a shame too, because like you said, community is very important. And again, going to tournaments, like, a lot of people lack that community, and the Smash community has, like, the local Smash community has done that.
Yeah.
Like, having people like, that you'll recognize week in and week out. It's very important, and to lose a pillar of, like, the international segment, like the international pillar.
Yeah.
In a sense, that's a lot to lose.
It is, because, like, think about it. It also disincentivizes growth from other tournament organizers. Because, say you run your locals really well, your community grows as a result, so you start putting on bigger events, you'll start to now rub up against Panda Global. Now, all of a sudden, like, if you get too big, Panda's going to come by and say, you have to pay us this money for us to sanction your event, or we're going to shut it down. And that disincentivizes growth. And at the end of the day, who's that going to really affect?
And
the average person that just wants to play Smash. And
at this point, like you said that now panelists are no longer going to be considering Panda Cup events for PR.
So the PGR, the panelists that were going to be submitting player rankings for this PGR season, they're not doing it.
So do you think we're just going to get a bunch of people playing Steves at top 8? Just to mess around and just make it an unfun experience.
Why would they play Steve? If you're gonna fuck around and make a statement, you might as well just play the most dogshit stall character out there. Just play your most dog... Like, literally, all you gotta do is just recreate EVO 2018. Just have two Bayonetas sit there holding their guns for 4 minutes straight.
They're just mine. Literally just mine. Just... make an agreement between all top 8 players to mine until you get 3 diamonds. That way you have enough for each stock. And then you go.
I'm just thinking, why don't you just play hero and just keep going down the list until you self-destruct.
Oh my god, Kamikaze Dittos would be amazing.
Yeah, but overall, it's just been pretty bad. And, like, Nintendo has been pretty fucking horrible to the Smash community. But for once, the Smash community, Nintendo was finally convinced that the Smash community is worth Nintendo's time. And the group that Nintendo partners with happens to be the worst group of them all for them to partner with. And the worst part about it is they were so close to securing a deal with Video Game Boot Camp. And if they secured that, Smash would have been set for years to come. But now, it's gone.
Yeah. And
now the community basically has to reset itself again after having to reset itself from the 2020 sexual assault allegations to the COVID lockdowns that basically reset so many things. Now they gotta reset again.
Yeah. I will say, the most that I've seen about it are memes of people blaming Esam, not because he's done anything wrong, but because he's bald.
Yeah.
That's the most I've seen of it.
Yes, but I do want to say that Esam does get a sizable hate following that will definitely use his connection to Panda to just shit on him even more.
Yeah.
Because technical fans are just... they're bad.
Yeah.
Okay. Wait. This isn't the official PG Stats team. Damn it! I thought it was the official PG Stats team. But, yeah, it's just over. So, moving on, I think that's all we have for media, right?
Yeah.
So, moving on to politics, the first thing I want to talk about is how Twitter's been doing.
Oh, yeah.
Twitter's been going through it. Elon Musk, he sucks.
The most recent update to come out is Apple may be considering getting rid of Twitter from the App Store.
Yeah, if Apple gets rid of Twitter from the App Store, Twitter dies. And so Elon Musk is in full panic mode. He's like, why does Apple hate freedom of speech? Like, Tim Cook, what does Apple have against freedom of speech? Even though the reality of the situation is it has nothing to do with freedom of speech, and it has everything to do with the fact that you gutted all of the security that the platform had. You've made it completely unfriendly to advertisers, and you welcome back neo-Nazis in open arms, and you fucking quote tweet them with fucking laughing emojis. So, yeah, Twitter is going pretty fast. And, it's kind of crazy, because now that it's going to shit really fast, it's becoming far more right-wing. Yeah. And right-wing commentators and pundits are just soaring to the top of trendings and soaring to the top of discourse, because now that you can just pay to be verified, and now that if you're not verified, your posts are deprioritized on timelines, you're now just getting right-wingers who are rich getting just a bunch of accounts that are now verified and now just flooding the timeline. And since Elon Musk is right-wing himself, he engages with it, and let's be honest here, because he's the CEO of Twitter, there's probably some algorithm change that allows his account to have more fucking influence, because he's the fucking owner. And so now it's just right-wing propaganda wall-to-wall across the timeline. All my good porn is gone, too. This is fucking horrible.
Okay. Anyway, but this whole scenario pretty much encapsulates for Elon Musk: win stupid games, win stupid prizes.
Play stupid games.
Right?
You said win stupid games, win stupid prizes. It's play stupid games. I'm
tired. Okay. I should be asleep by now. I'm tired.
Yeah.
But hold on. I want to see something. Oh no, the Tesla stock is doing fine. It's dropped 15% since the past month, but it's doing fine.
The Twitter stock?
The Tesla stock. The Twitter stock's been delisted ever since he bought it.
Yeah.
Actually, let me verify that that's still a thing. Yeah, no, it's still delisted, unfortunately. So we can't watch it plummet.
Yeah. But it's just really sad. And it kind of also goes to show that, what's it called? That the capitalists will always court, capitalists will always court, the fascists. And so, yeah. Moving on. This is just a small thing, but Nancy Pelosi resigned as Speaker of the House.
Yeah, not meaning that she'll resign from her position as a representative of her district, but she's no longer going to be the leader of the Democratic Party for the House.
Which,
but
I guess this is an appropriate time to do it. I kind of feel like the time where people were chanting for Nancy to resign is kind of over. People kind of just accepted that she's the speaker, and there wasn't really much of an uproar. But I understand why she probably did this. This is probably more in light to the security risk to her life.
Yeah.
I mean, her status as Speaker of the House is what put her and her husband in a position to nearly get assassinated. So I could understand why you would want to step down. Even at your old age of 70 whatever, I'd still retire if that happened.
Pretty sure she's in her 80s.
80s, whatever. She's old as shit. But yeah, the abhorrent assassination attempt was probably enough for her to decide that she's had too much shit.
Yeah.
And so we actually know who's been tapped to lead the Democratic Party. It's Hakeem Jeffries.
Yeah.
Making him the first black leader of the Democratic Party.
Now the question is, do we like him?
I haven't looked too much into him. So my initial belief is that he's probably just
probably
a lib.
Probably another corporate lib.
Yeah, probably. But I mean, at least he's younger than Pelosi.
That is definitely true.
He is 52.
Oh, that's actually really young for considering how we have people what's her name, who has what's that one senator? Is it representative or senator who is suffering from obvious dementia?
I don't remember. But yeah. What else happened? Sarah Palin got bounced out.
Yeah, that's cool. Another L for her, twice in the same year, actually.
Yeah.
Considering her first loss was in the special election, and now that the actual election has taken place, yeah, she's officially gone.
Looking back on it, Sarah Palin was definitely the beginning of the crazy type of right-wingers we see nowadays.
Yeah.
Looking back on it, John McCain was was just neocon central, but she was the crazy one. But then we forgot about that level of crazy because Mitt Romney and Paul Ryan were milk toast. They were milk toast neocons, that we forgot that the crazier people were still in the party.
She's not even considered crazy by today's standards anymore.
Yeah, but she definitely...
she's still crazy, but...
She was definitely the forebearer. She's prototype Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Yeah, because, comparing those two together,
one looks like Lisa Ann, the other looks like the Smiling Titan.
At least the other one didn't post on Twitter about space lasers.
Speaking of anti-Semites...
Oh,
God! So
I really don't like talking about Kanye, but for once, it's actually funny, so I'll engage.
So first of all, Kanye West had dinner with Donald Trump alongside his new campaign advisors, Milo Yiannopoulos and Nick Fuentes.
Which
wow, he dove head first into the neo-Nazi pit. Like,
yeah.
God damn, like, Milo is a Nazi, and he claims he's been converted from being gay to straight, and that his boyfriend is just his roommate. He is.
It's up to interpretation if you want to believe him.
He's prototype Dave Rubin,
Yeah.
but now he's just a Nazi, and then Nick Fuentes is a Nazi, and so they went and met with Trump to have discussions about things. One, Kanye offered Trump to be his vice president,
Which oh man,
wow,
that mania is definitely carrying him far.
wow, that is a request. Wow.
That is definitely one way to get on his bad side.
Yeah, this is only like a couple weeks after Trump announced that he's running for president himself. So approaching the competition and being like, why don't you work for me, is ballsy, but also what? But also after that, he basically tried to, with Nick Fuentes, tell Trump hey, some people, they're losing faith in the MAGA. And, this is, you should listen to Nick Fuentes here. He was a diehard fan of yours. But now he isn't because you believe the Jews. And, come on, man. I thought we were all in this Jew-hating together. And Trump was like, I don't know what the fuck you people are talking about.
This is...
Oh, God. I hate living in this timeline where Trump sits in a room with 3 neo-Nazis and he's just like, what is happening?
See, for me, the most depressing part of this story is the fact that Trump engaging in anti-Semitism isn't new.
It isn't new.
So it's
but it's wow, we're just okay, so we got Trump, who's an anti-Semite, but then we have literal Hitler 2.0 to 4.0 sitting right next to him. So you're kind of I guess we'll take the common variety anti-Semite to those 3.
I'm gonna make a prediction right now. This is not gonna negatively impact Trump anyway.
Oh no. God no. Because some MAGA people aren't full-blown anti-Semites yet. But, yeah, also they were talking about how come he didn't do more for the people arrested for Jan 6th, which was more of a self-preservation scheme by Nick Fuentes because he was at the January 6th protests and allegedly was in the Capitol building. So, allegedly, not stated as fact. Allegedly. So, yeah. So that happened, but then he started beef. So then Kanye started beefing with Ben Shapiro, which, wow, that was, from Drake to Ben Shapiro, I don't know how, so he's beefing with Ben Shapiro. You want to take that part away?
Well, ultimately, what can we say besides Ben Shapiro reaps what he sows for engaging in far-right politics?
Yeah, so Ben Shapiro's why don't you hang out with Nazis? And
because, ultimately, for just, oh my god. Oh, this is all so dumb.
It is so dumb. Ben Shapiro's why don't you not court Nazis, Kanye? Being a Nazi's bad, don't you know? And it's but Ben, you also work with Nazis. Candace Owens, the one that got him on this path, is your co-worker. Ben, Ben, I don't think you're in a position to be saying, why don't you not work with Nazis when you currently work with Nazis? Like, Ben, Jordan Peterson works at the Daily Wire. What? So, yeah, they started beefing. But then it got worse, because then Nick Fuentes and Kanye went on Tim Pool.
Oh boy, and actually the highlight of the whole week, because of the fact that Tim Pool actually like pushed back against him and forced him.
They ran away.
He pretty much put Kanye in a position to where he felt like he had to walk away from the interview, which
listen, Tim Pool is a dumbass and a neo-Nazi. But the fact that you are so mask off and so stupid that you got intellectually outflanked by Tim Pool, God, they are so fucked. But we all know that this campaign is just a psyop anyway.
Yeah.
This is not in any way going to affect anything. This campaign, in my opinion, is just a way to normalize anti-Semitism.
Yeah.
Because now we've got so many people coming out the woodwork, so many athletes coming out the woodwork, like, Kanye speaking the truth, and you got so many people that are just like, yeah, so what is it about the Jews? And you're just like, no, the fucking Black Hebrew Israelites had like a fucking like cult chant in New York, which I hate this world. And then because of the anti-Semitism, we get more shit like the fucking the anti-Semitism mixes with the deep state stuff, which mixes with the anti-LGBT stuff and the groomers, and then you have the dumb shit like Balenciaga campaigns. This is just horrible. I hate all of this. I hate living like this.
Yeah.
And so it's just depressing. What was the other politics thing that happened? Yes. So we wanted to talk about something positive, because while we are definitely headfirst to fascism, the government is not fully been co-opted.
Yep. We mentioned last week how the what's it called? The Respect for Marriage Act?
Yeah, the Respect for Marriage Act.
It passed through its initial votes and avoiding a filibuster. They have voted to pass it, and now it'll go back to the House.
Which it'll most likely pass.
It'll pass. They just need like a simple majority, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. Which, thank goodness for that.
Yep. So, yeah. That's pretty good. I'm just happy because it shows that even with the revocation of Roe v. Wade and the potential revocation of Hodges versus Obergefell, however the fuck you pronounce the name, it's good to know that we still have some people, some liberals, still fighting for basic civil rights for queer people, especially because we're sitting amongst if not the already happening, the beginning stages of a queer genocide in America.
How in the world did we get 12 Republicans to vote on our side? I am astounded by it.
Because while queer genocide is definitely happening, it's still unpopular to be against gay marriage right now.
True. That is true. For now.
For now. We're very quickly backsliding. So, yeah. And so, that's been pretty sad. Trump. The Supreme Court did not did not allow him to hide his taxes.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
They forced him.
Was it 3 or 6 years of his taxes that they've requested from him?
I don't remember.
It's between 3 or 6.
Yeah. And and the Treasury Department has said today that they've just received it.
That's awesome. So that's wonderful news, actually.
So we'll actually see what happens financially. Will anything happen? Probably not. But actually, something could happen, and I don't want it to happen because I need Trump to still have the ability to run against Ron DeSantis to the point where they beat each other silly. So then, when it comes down to picking, one side loses a sizable base, and then Biden wins. So no, actually, wait, don't hold off, please, don't get him in jail yet.
I'm objectively opposed to that to that scenario. Also, because I still think he could tear the party apart behind bars.
I don't think he can.
I think he can. I think it could be like
it would. His main thing he would rely on. So here's the thing: Trump has a cult of personality, and he doesn't have a successor. If he's behind bars, that's less media access, meaning there's no one running the MAGA cult. Meaning that their fractured bases can start to be absorbed into fringe groups that secretly work for DeSantis. So that's why we need him not behind bars. Because the only other power he'll have is the violent reactions that will come with his his arrest.
I'm not willing to force that just to not have him behind bars.
Well, the reason being is think about it like this. The Democratic establishment has already circled the wagons around DeSantis. Trump is really the only bulwark within the party that stops DeSantis from clean sweeping.
Yeah, I see the framework you're working with, but, I don't know.
But the thing is the fascism. It's the fascism. We need to stall fascism. And if that means that the criminal gets to stay free for 2 more years, I will gladly take that trade. If it means we get another 4 years before we potentially get run over by fascism.
But, yeah, we're thinking about the potential that the two of them are going to infight to the point where it tears the party apart. That's not a guarantee.
Well, it's already started, though.
It's starting, but that's not going... We're not for sure realizing that it is going to be the guaranteed end state for the party.
The main thing is this. Trump has the bigger people, but if Ron DeSantis was allowed to run a campaign completely uncontested, they would circle with him. So we need Trump to keep his base feral for him, because that means they're not supporting DeSantis.
Yeah. Well, if that scenario happens, like I said last week, I will be...
Because he won't concede to DeSantis if he loses the nomination.
If that scenario happens, I will gladly be eating popcorn in the background and watching the mess unfold. I'm just not 100% certain that if we go down that path, that is what will happen.
It's the most likely path, considering Ron DeSantis, as it stands right now, isn't popular amongst the common Republican populace, only in Florida.
Yeah.
That's currently the only thing protecting us, is that he isn't more nationally well known.
I'm just being extremely cautious right now because, the plan could easily backfire.
It very easily could backfire. I mean, what we need is that we just need to force a Biden v. Trump situation, or Trump takes away a sizable amount of people from voting for DeSantis.
Yeah,
because if Trump comes back, then no one's gonna... The same people who voted against Trump are probably gonna vote against him again. Versus with DeSantis, if Trump doesn't take away a portion of the party, they will just circle around DeSantis. Because they'll look at all the economic shit done under Biden, and they'll believe that it's Biden's fault, and then they'll go with DeSantis.
Yeah. Again, I'm just... yeah, it's probably from where we are now, it can be viewed as, the most common outcome to happen. We gotta tread very delicately when we're this close to the rise of fascism. I'm sorry. I am not willing to, stick my feet in the ground and be like, yes, I'm behind this 100%. We need to be a little more careful before we start fantasizing about the best possible outcome for us when it could easily divert in any other way.
I know, but I just don't want him taken out of the race too early. I just can't.
It's a massive risk.
If he's taken out of the race this early, then I think DeSantis is all but won.
Like,
because there would be nothing stopping everyone from circling around him.
I'm just like, so many scenarios could happen that deviate from this if we're not careful.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying, is that this is not a 100% guarantee, and any thought leader could take advantage of the situation and just completely run it out of control.
I mean, the best case scenario was a Kanye v. Biden situation.
that is like a 1,000,000% chance of happening.
Actually, I think this is the best scenario: is Biden v. DeSantis v. Kanye v. Trump, with Kanye and Trump running in third parties. If that happens, Biden wins for sure.
Yeah.
Because you know that if Kanye... Because here's the thing. Kanye didn't make a dent last election because he started very late. But he has time. And he has some political backing. He could potentially run spoiler against DeSantis. He could potentially off of DeSantis.
Yeah.
Oh my god, is Kanye running as a Republican?
I don't think he's announced, because last time he ran just independent, didn't he?
Yeah, but... Oh my god. Hell world, hell world, hell world, hell world. We live in hell world. God damn it.
Do you think we could actually see him at the, RNC, debate stage?
I would sooner slam my dick in a car door. Absolutely. I don't know.
I'm hoping he doesn't, because if he appears on that stage, it will, give him a lot of legitimacy as it did Trump.
Yeah, no. I would sooner slam my dick in a car door. I don't want to entertain this anymore. Absolutely not. I would, oh my god, I would...
Because third parties don't have, a debate stage, right? Not one that anybody cares about, right?
Yeah, but I don't know. There's probably, a Periscope. I don't know. It's probably posted on MySpace or something. I don't fucking know. But...
What, you think Tom hosts it?
Fucking no. I'm just... Oh, God. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no.
Did I break your brain?
I don't want to see that debate. I don't want to see a Trump v. DeSantis v. Kanye debate. You thought the Biden-Trump debates were degenerate? Oh, no! Oh, no! Oh, no! Oh, the degeneracy!
I think I broke his brain, everybody.
Oh God, no!
I broke his brain.
God,
that's how we're ending the episode. Good night, everybody.
God, no! Oh God, no! This is horrible. I don't want to live in that world. Oh God.
But most likely he will not make it on.
I hope not. But then again, he does have far-right pundits, and he did get a lot of money last time from far-right groups. And that was with only a couple months left before the election. Imagine what he can pull. Because, listen, you know there's a bunch of neo-Nazis with money that would throw their money behind Kanye.
I still don't see it happening.
I don't think he'll win.
No, I don't think he'll, step foot on the stage.
I hope not.
Unless he heckles his way onto stage.
I mean, if he registers as a Republican, then he is entitled to go.
Yeah.
And honestly, he would be de facto number 3. Oh, God, I hate the... Why? Why did... Listen, this is all because of 2 things. 1,
the damn gorilla.
The fucking gorilla! It's because they killed that fucking gorilla that we're like this, but also because one dipshit got mad at his ex-girlfriend for breaking up with him, and so said that she was sleeping with gaming journalists. It's that guy's fault and the fucking gorilla. If those two things didn't happen, we would be living in a better world. But no. Incels and the fucking Cincinnati Zoo. Fuck them.
Rest in peace, legends never die.
I don't even want to talk about my last part. I don't even want to bring up the last segment now.
We had another one? You said this one was the last one.
I was going to talk about Biden and the trains, but whatever.
I did it, guys. I did it. I broke his brain.
Fuck all of this. I hate all of this.
We're calling it a night, everybody.
We'll see you next week.